As you probably know, Richard James, Gerry Anderson is sometimes referred to as the Walt Disney of the UK.
Yes, he is.
You've heard that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, there was some influence of Disney films on Dad. It was unavoidable because Disney was so ubiquitous. But most notably, during the pre-production of Four for the Falls and Supercar, that's where this has had its strongest influence. During later series, sculptors like Christine Glanville and Mary Turner designed puppet characters using photos from magazines as reference, or they were given a kind of a verbal pitch of, a little bit kind of Sean Connery-esque, that kind of thing.
I see, yeah.
However, in the early productions, namely the aforementioned Four for the Falls and Supercar, the character sculpts were allegedly designed in sketch form by an unknown ex-Disney artist.
Oh?
Yes. Now, very sadly, the identity of that designer and animator from Disney is lost to time. Barry Gray and Reg Hill, both talented artists and contributors to Four for the Falls and Supercar, were both skilled enough to have done these sketches. But it must have been felt at the time that there was somebody was required with a background in animation to make it really work. So, somewhere, there's an uncredited ex-Disney artist who was responsible for some of your favourite characters from those early series at the turn of the 1960s.
How interesting.
Do you know any other connections, Podsterons, between the House of Mouse and Gerry Anderson Productions? We'd love to know. Do send them in to podcast@gerryanderson.com. And also, if you've got any further information on the ex-Disney animator who designed those characters for Supercar and Four for the Falls, we'd love to hear, even if it's hearsay. I mean, don't write in and say, "Oh yeah, it was Walt himself that did that."
Sure,
I don't think that's true.
You could write in and say that,
but we won't read it out. So
no,
don't bother. So who knows? I mean, there must have been a huge number of people who were involved in these things, and I can tell you from our work on the documentary when we were talking to Joy and Linda about Betty, Dad's first wife, who was sadly unable to be part of the film. Because she passed away prior to our interview, sadly. She actually worked as a seamstress on Twizzle and Torchy, I believe.
I had no idea, really.
Yeah, so she was involved in making some of the costumes, I believe. I'm sure Joy and Linda will correct me if I'm wrong, but that she would end up taking some of them home and doing some of the sewing at home on the kitchen table. She came into the studio and did some sort of puppet costume work.
Nice.
Because later on she went on to be... Well, she was a seamstress beforehand, and she carried that on after her and Dad's marriage broke down. So,
I see, yeah.
But I don't think she ever got a credit, as far as I know. So who knows how many other uncredited artists were on those particularly early shows that have been lost to time.
And none of those early designs or illustrations that may have been drawn by a Walt Disney artist survive, I guess?
I don't believe so, unless someone's got one somewhere or something's come to light recently. If you have got something, do let us know. If you know different, we're always happy to hear if you know different.